She's back. And she came back with a vengeance. Bianca Belair made her explosive return to Monday Night Raw, and Jade Cargill just found out why they call her the EST of WWE. If you thought you'd seen everything in women's wrestling, what happened last night will have you picking your jaw up off the floor. This is the return that nobody saw coming. What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to Suplex Rumble, where we break down the most electrifying moments in sports entertainment. I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of the most shocking and intense returns in recent WWE history. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're covering all the biggest wrestling moments as they happen. Okay, let's rewind a bit and talk about why this return was so significant. Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, the strongest, the fastest, the toughest, has been absent from our screens for several weeks due to an injury angle. For those who've been following along, Bianca suffered what was described as a significant injury after a brutal attack that took her out of action. Now, during her absence, the women's division on Raw has been thriving, but there's been this feeling that something was missing, right? That top-tier star power, the championship-caliber presence. And into that void stepped Jade Cargill. Let's talk about Jade for a minute because this woman has been on an absolute tear. Since coming to WWE, Jade Cargill has been unstoppable. Standing at 5'10", with an athletic background that's second to none, Jade has been demolishing competition left and right. She's been making bold statements, claiming that she is the most dominant woman in WWE history. In recent weeks, Jade has been calling out everyone. She's said that there's nobody on the Raw roster who can compete with her. She's dismissed the competition, she's trash-talked legends, and she's made it very clear that she believes she's the true face of the women's division. Bold claims, right? But here's the thing that made Monday Night Raw so special. While Jade was running her mouth about being untouchable, she had no idea that the EST was about to make her grand return. The wrestling world had been buzzing with rumors about when Bianca would come back, but WWE kept it under tight wraps. And that secrecy made what happened absolutely explosive. Social media was going crazy before Raw even started. Fans were speculating, would we see Bianca soon? Is she cleared to compete? Nobody had concrete answers, which made the surprise even sweeter. Alright, let's get into what happened on Raw. About 40 minutes into the show, Jade Cargill made her way to the ring, and let me tell you, this woman was oozing confidence. She had this swagger, this attitude that just screamed, I run this division. Jade grabbed a microphone and proceeded to deliver what she probably thought would be another typical Jade Cargill promo, talking about her dominance, her unmatched athleticism, her superiority over everyone in the locker room. The crowd was actually getting pretty heated, with loud boos raining down on her. She specifically started talking about the women who used to be at the top of Raw. And this is where it got interesting, folks. Jade mentioned Bianca Belair by name. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that Bianca was lucky to be injured because it saved her from the inevitable beatdown she would have received at Jade's hands. The disrespect. The crowd was not having it. You could hear the boos getting louder and louder. Jade continued, saying that when Bianca does eventually return, if she returns, she'll be walking into a division that Jade Cargill has completely dominated. She called herself the real EST of WWE. Now, here's where WWE's production team deserves some serious credit. The way they built this moment was perfect. Jade was going on and on, really milking her promo, trash-talking some of the other women in the division. The crowd was getting more and more restless, but not in a bored way. You could feel the tension building. Jade declared that nobody in the back had the courage to come out and face her. She issued an open challenge, saying that any woman who thought they could step up should come out right now and get embarrassed in front of the world. And that's when it happened. The arena went dark for just a moment. You know that feeling when something big is about to go down? The crowd started to buzz with anticipation. And then, I wish you could have heard the eruption in that arena. The place absolutely exploded. We're talking about one of the loudest pops of the year. Fans were on their feet, jumping up and down, losing their minds. This was the return everyone had been waiting for, and it was finally happening. Bianca appeared at the top of the ramp, and let me paint you a picture. She looked ready. That signature braid was flowing, she had that fierce determination in her eyes, and you could see that this wasn't just a comeback. This was about revenge, about reclaiming her spot, about putting Jade Cargill in her place. The look on Jade's face was priceless. You could see the shock, the disbelief, maybe even a little bit of concern flash across her expression. This was not part of her plan. She thought she was going to have another easy night talking herself up, and instead, the real EST just walked back into her world. Bianca stood at the top of the ramp for a moment, taking in that incredible crowd reaction. The EST chants were deafening. She pointed directly at Jade in the ring, making it crystal clear why she was there. She heard everything Jade said about her, and it was time for Jade to back up all that trash talk. Now, Jade, to her credit, tried to compose herself. She started talking into the microphone, trying to act like she wasn't surprised, like this was exactly what she wanted. She told Bianca to bring it, that she'd been waiting for this moment. But Bianca? She wasn't interested in talking anymore. She started making her way down that ramp with purpose. This wasn't a casual walk, this was a woman on a mission. Here's where things got absolutely insane. Bianca slid into the ring, and Jade immediately charged at her. These two powerhouses collided in the center of that ring, and the crowd was going ballistic. Visual suggestion post demonstrating the collision with hand gestures. They started trading shots, hard forearms, powerful strikes. You could hear the impact of each blow echoing through the arena. This wasn't a technical masterpiece, this was a fight. This was personal. This was two of the most athletic women in WWE unleashing everything they had. Host. Jade managed to back Bianca into the corner and started delivering shoulder tackles to the midsection, brutal, powerful strikes. But Bianca fought back. She grabbed Jade and whipped her across the ring with that incredible strength we all know she possesses. What happened next was unbelievable. Bianca caught Jade with a massive spine buster that shook the entire ring. The crowd was losing it. Jade tried to roll out of the ring to create some separation, but Bianca was not letting her escape that easily. Host. Bianca followed Jade to the outside, and this is where the destruction really began. She grabbed Jade by the hair, well, not literally pulling hair, but you know what I mean. She took control and slammed Jade into the barricade. The impact was thunderous. Visual suggestion, sound effect or dramatic gesture, but Bianca wasn't done. She picked Jade up and delivered a devastating suplex right on the outside. Jade's back hit the floor with a sickening thud. The referee was trying to get them back in the ring, but Bianca was in destroy mode. She was sending a message to everyone watching: the EST is back, and she's here to reclaim her throne. Host. They eventually got back into the ring, and Bianca was in complete control. She hit Jade with a series of her signature moves, that incredible strength on display with power moves that had the crowd on their feet. Jade tried to mount a comeback, hitting a few strikes of her own, but Bianca was just on another level. And then came the finale. Bianca grabbed Jade and set her up for the KOD, the kiss of death. The crowd was on their feet, chanting along. She lifted Jade up, and boom, drove her down with authority. Jade was left laying in the middle of that ring. But here's the thing, Bianca still wasn't finished. She stood over Jade, staring down at her, and you could see it in her eyes. This was about making a statement. She grabbed the microphone that Jade had dropped and finally addressed the WWE Universe. Bianca told Jade and everyone watching that she heard every disrespectful word that was said while she was out. She said that people forgot who runs the women's division on Raw, but she's back to remind everyone. She said Jade wanted to claim to be the EST, but there's only one EST in WWE, and we were all looking at her. The crowd was eating this up. Bianca dropped the microphone and stood tall in the center of the ring, her music playing, the crowd chanting her name. Meanwhile, Jade was still down, rolling out of the ring, looking absolutely stunned by what just happened. As Raw went to commercial, we got this incredible shot of Bianca standing on the second turnbuckle, braid flowing, arms raised in victory, while medical personnel checked on Jade at ringside. The visual told the whole story. The Queen has returned to her kingdom. When we came back from commercial, we got some backstage reactions that added even more layers to this story. Several other women's division competitors were shown watching monitors backstage, and you could see the mixture of emotions. Some looked impressed, some looked concerned, some looked like they were excited to see this level of intensity back in the division. We also got a brief backstage segment where Jade was shown being helped to the trainer's room. She was furious, shoving away assistants, yelling about how this wasn't over, how Bianca got lucky with a surprise attack. The fire in Jade's eyes made it clear this rivalry is far from finished. Let's break down what this means moving forward. First off, this return was perfectly executed. The surprise element, the timing, the intensity. WWE nailed every aspect of bringing Bianca back in the most impactful way possible. From a storytelling perspective, you've now got one of the hottest feuds in the women's division. Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill is a dream match that fans have been wanting to see, and now it's happening with real heat, real intensity, and genuine star power on both sides. These are two of the most athletic, most physically impressive women in wrestling today. When they eventually have a one-on-one match, whether that's at the next premium live event or on an upcoming Raw, we're looking at a potential